The Workers' Voice. Today's what? The 20th of what? February 2025. Yes, Dominicans, a special good night to you all, wherever you are, whatever medium you are using to connect with us and to hear us. We appreciate you very much. And, well, tomorrow is the Christian burial of Miss Amelia Simon, and she'll be buried tomorrow at the Cafe Jolla, 2:30 viewing and 3 o'clock, So it's my neighbor, so we'll be actually celebrating her life tomorrow. Amelia has been an avid supporter of Calypso. She has been always there. I hope the Calypso Association can find it necessary to do something in her honor. I'm not actually telling them what to do, but for sure, for someone who has supported the art form for many years, I think they should have some recognition in her honor. Let me just say good night to everyone. For those who have lost loved ones, we say we are sorry and we condole with you. For those who have families undergoing some form of pressure, for those who are at the hospital, for those who are experiencing some sort of ailment and suffering, we ask a good Lord to intervene on your behalf and wish everyone well. Well, tonight we have in studios our Vice President, Honorable Ronald Charles, and obviously we have our astute political leader, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, who, boy, let me tell you, seem to be making waves. You think to be making waves. People are telling me, just continue. The team is really doing what we have to do. Let me say good night to our executive members. We have our deputy political leader, Mr. Delbert Paris. We have our president, Mr. Honorable Lennox Linton. We have our general secretary, Mr. Nicholas Jordan, all the other executive members. And Mr. Delbert Paris, I forgot to give you your honor, Senator Delbert Paris, right now. So let me just say good night to the extended UW family and all those who are listening to us. As we say already before, this program is not just for those who support the wishes for the party and to going forward. We believe that we are all Dominicans, and this program is open to everyone and sundry, and we expect people to participate and make their points, but to do it with good taste and to respect others' opinion, and do it with good taste and do not disrespect anyone. So tonight we'll be reviewing some of what has been happening around us as a party, and you've given us a challenge, and we've undertaken this challenge with respect to going on the ground and doing what is necessary or connecting with the various constituencies, and we have been doing so in whether it's in sports, whether it's in meetings, in town hall style, in open meeting, we have been doing so. So tonight, let me say good night to Roseau Central and to many of the other constituencies and our caretakers around Dominica, well-wishers to the party, those who continue to support the party financially. We really, appreciate your support, and we ask God to bless your finances 5 times or 5-fold, as they would say. So we will be soliciting your support as we go forward, respect to the CBI matter and other things. I mean, you have been walking in and do what you have to do. We do appreciate it. You can ask a friend to contribute, and our office really situated at 6 River Street, Lower River Street, that blew up and long business where we are at the top floor. We can see Roseau, although Roseau not the envy of the Caribbean. We're hoping that when we come in, we can transform Roseau as Roseau is supposed to be transformed. So tonight, gentlemen, good night, and it's a pleasure to be in the company of 2 distinguished gentlemen. Let me say, first of all, right now, Mr. Honorable Vice President, can you please give your opening remarks, sir?
Yeah, thank you, Soso, and of course, good evening to the political leader, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, and warm regards going to the communities of the Roseau Valley constituency, all my people up in Mount Prospect, Trafalgar, Watson, Weaven, Falcony, just name it, Loda, and all the rest of the hamlets. It's good to be here. You've said it all in your introductory remarks, so I will not revisit it. But as the saying goes, Dominica is pregnant with issues, and the good thing is they said that they needed another West Indian pace bowler to leave Sudan and come down to come down on the ground. Now he's on the ground. You know, a lot of fellas in that ministry, their pants is getting a little loose.
And they say the wicked does not deteriorating.
No, and he has, and guess what? Yeah, he has bowled only 2 balls.
2 balls.
Yeah, you know, and then the football will be a yoker. You know, it will come in very soon.
Is it called a googly sometimes?
Yeah, googly.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope.
But having said that, on a serious note, I mean, at the end of the day, I think I want to take this opportunity this evening to really thank Dr. Fontaine for the work that he has been doing and continue to do for Dominica. I guess since he was once carrying fig on his head in Granford. That is where it all began, and to come back to leave what he had in terms of opportunities and to come to Dominica, it clearly shows his commitment to people and his commitment to people, because Dr. Fontaine understands that. And so therefore, I'm very proud of Dr. Fontaine. I know that he's going to, and you see, and I say it like this, Dr. Fontaine is an economist by profession. And the issue is Dominica has a problem with the economy. Better person to work with this is Dr. Fontaine. And of course, he's surrounded by a lot of other skillful persons who can assist in doing so. And people in the diaspora, and he has his contacts, and for sure, we can make Dominica a better place. And Dr. Fontaine articulated his vision for Dominica in the St. Joseph meeting. And I mean, I got I could conk the goosebumps, I got a lot of goosebumps because this is inspiring. The hope that I'm hearing now is the hope that we need to hear. And thank you, Dr. Fontaine, for the work. And, when Dr. Thompson spoke about, bringing back the factories, bringing back factories in Dominica, making things happen for Dominicans. He doesn't have an objection to the NEP workers. Of course, beautification is something that we believe that should be across the board, but at the end of the day, you need to have persons employed in a field where they can have their own salary slip, they can get their own job letter, go to the bank and invest or take a loan and do it with pride and dignity, no matter what area of employment they have, be it NEP on the beautification side or wherever they are. We cannot continue to make our NEP workers feel that they do not have the necessary assets to be able to go get their own loan and do their thing. The other thing that I believe that is important is that we have been hearing a repeat of the government coming back with the same googly. Not the one Dr. Thompson. The same googly all the time. So the government have realized that they have not engaged the people. So they're now on going to different communities, which the United Workers' Party is doing too, and many other groups are involved in engaging the people. But we have always been engaging. And they're coming back with the same thing. I heard once, just recently, the same marijuana talk came back. A guy telling me, well, no, allegedly, because I have to be very careful. They said that, they're hearing government ministers saying, well, it's not free trees now, they'll get 5. So these allegations is serious. These are the kind of things that are coming back on the table. Every time there seems to be an election cycle, there seems to be more flights coming in and more things are happening, and it is all, and it saddens me. As soon as the election fever is over, everything goes back to zero. The bread and butter issues in Dominica is important. Persons have to be able to sustain their family. And a real united family is one that mother and father can go to work and come back and feel that they have achieved something within our space in Dominica.
That's correct.
That is to be able to pay for their children's school, put gas in their car, buy a car, purchase a piece of land, send their children to school. This is what my parents are not rich people. So 7 of us, all of us were able to go to school. And all of us used to, when we go down by Valentine's, wherever we went for the shoes, everybody was getting a shoe. And she had to pay for it with her money.
Right.
So I know what it is, even if the money at the time was much lower. but yet still persons could get through, all these long lines of person depending on a system cannot be correct. And now is the time to change this. And we've been hearing about electoral reform, so I'm not going to really talk about this. I know that it is here to come, and the changes will come, and Dr. Fontaine spoke about it. So, Dr. Fontaine, that would be my opening remarks. Thank you so much.
Well, yes, thanks, Ronald. Thank you, Ronald. I heard a Calypsonian is singing about, experts, and I don't think she meant experts that don't know what they don't know about. I think she meant experts that know. Well, at least I think she wanted to just tell us about experts that know. And Dr. Thompson is our expert. So far, Doc, we have embarked on a number of community engagements to include at least 2 town halls and 2 meetings. Was it? Yes. 2 meetings, 1 meeting, and three town halls. One in the Roseau catchment area, one at Castlebrush, the other at Marigot. Well, St. Joseph was an open meeting, and one at St. Joseph and one at Marigot. Doc, the feedback so far has been good, or the feedbacks have been coming in so good. In fact, let me just, before you come in, one guy after the St. Joseph meeting, before I drove off, to Tong, he came to me as a St. Joe constituent, and he said, Coffee, I cried tonight. I said, for what? He said, well, just listen, having listened to Dr. Fontaine, giving that story about that young guy who fell in school, maybe fainted and didn't have any meal. And what he had liked is how you actually sort of collaborated what it is that the party is going to do, or at least have some plan to do to restore decency in people's lives, to improve the economic situation and standing. And he was very impressive. You did not only just talk about a situation, but you gave hope that, when you, under your leadership of the United Workers' Party, that policies will be looked at and will be geared and better in people's lives. What is your take on that?
Well, a very good night, guys, and it's good to be in your company and to be on Workers' Voice tonight. And let me just say a very good night to all of our listeners across Dominica and across the globe. Our vision for Dominica is clear. Our vision is one of uplifting people, making people better. I think the United Workers' Party stands in stark contrast to a Dominica Labour Party. I believe the Dominica Labour Party has taken advantage of people. It has destroyed people's livelihoods, destroyed agriculture, run away manufacturing, imposed heavy taxation on the people of Dominica. Very little way for the people to make room for themselves, has favored foreigners over our locals. And if you contrast that behavior to a United Workers' Party, where we are concerned about our people, we believe that we need to create opportunities for our people. And we have a track record that goes with that, a track record of 4.5 years when the United Workers' Party did so much, invested in the future of the young people of Dominica by building free secondary schools in 4.5 years. In 24 years, a Labour Party government has not been able to do that.
They cannot.
We invested in people. We were able to open up new areas for agriculture. The Warner to Layu Road, for example, the Petit Savant to Dalis Road, the Fab Road, other areas, the number of feeder roads were repaired and so on, open up opportunities for farmers to get to their gardens, to be able to cultivate the agriculture. We supported the agriculture industry so that persons were able to build their homes. If you go to villages like Wesley, Marigot, even Rivière Syriac and La Plaine and across the agriculture belt of Dominica, you will see some massive buildings. Most of these buildings, the majority of them were built during the United Workers' Party government because we gave incentives for people to build their homes by reducing on duties. There was a time when homeowners could build at a fraction of the cost they would otherwise build. All of those things were done. We built roads. Some people don't even know that the road up at Point Michel there, at one time it was just you had to have all the skills to be able to drive through this road.
That's correct.
One young lady I met got injured walking there because stones would be rolling continuously. You pass there now and you drive without even thinking of this. I remember driving there when the road was as it was, and you had to be with one eye out.
Yes.
Because you would not be constant rolling of stones. It was the United Workers' Party that stabilized this area, and now people, the young generation, don't even know there was a problem there. We built that. So when you look at the track record of United Workers' Party, you see a party that stands in stark contrast to a Labour Party, and you see a party that has done so much for the people, and we are continuing that proud tradition. And I think that is where, and that is the hope that we have been able to come to the people of Dominica. We are not only talking, we are going based on a track record. We only had 4.5 years in government, but we did enough so that the people of Dominica should be taking a second look now at the United Workers' Party. And that is what we have been doing as we go to our town halls in the various areas, as we talk to people. And, at the town hall that we had in Marigot 2 nights ago, Claudia Sanford, the former vice president of the Workers' Party and the deputy leader, of the Workers' Party, gave a very important lecture. And if you've not yet seen it, I would encourage you to go on the United Workers' Party Facebook page, and you will get that particular presentation that was done by Claudius. And it was very clear in this presentation where this Labour Party and the contrast was drawn. So he gave a very simple graph, and he showed what a registered nurse was making in 2000 when the United Workers' Party got in the government.
Wow.
So in 2000, a registered nurse was making about 2,000 EC dollars.
Right.
A minister was making about $4,000. All right, that was in 2000. 24 years later, the same registered nurse
At that point.
right, is making $3,600, so an increase of 1,000.
2006, yeah.
The Labour Party minister has moved from 4,000 to over 10,000. Right, so it means that the registered nurse with a 3,600, given the rate of inflation over those years, her $3,600 is now less than she was making 20 years ago. But the minister of government, who is far less important in today's Dominica, you cannot compare the work that a nurse is doing compared to what a current government in this bloated, useless government is doing. I mean, there's just no comparison.
Right.
In terms, if I had a choice, I would choose a nurse every day over some of these politicians that are over there, because they don't know whether they're coming in or they're going out. They don't know what it is that they're doing, but yet they're living comfortable lives. As far as Dominica, they're comfortable. But the hardworking persons of Dominica, the hardworking nurses, the police officers, the teachers, the firemen, the agriculturists, the farmers, these individuals are suffering. They're catching hell. And that's the kind of information that we've been able to bring to the people, to show them in black and white, to show them, and another very important slide that was shown there was where he showed that over 80% of the resources of government goes to the Ministry of Finance.
Wow.
So whilst $5 million goes to agriculture, over $240 million a year goes to the Minister of Finance, or to the Ministry of Finance.
Yeah.
Completely lopsided, completely, and it's something that should make us angry. Angry that, or the way our resources are spent, not on developing the people, the way our resources are spent to prop up a bloated government with 18 ministers, wasteful spending, constant traveling overseas, just so you can get per diems and so on, whereas the majority of people are suffering. When you've barely moved in wages for your key workers in the country, you have a problem. So I'm saying all this to say that there is a stark contrast between this Labour Party government and the United Workers' Party government. Our concern is clearly about the people of Dominica. And that's why I believe St. Joseph resonated and St. Joseph made sense, because people listening knew we were not selling a dream.
Right.
They understood that this is a party that has behaved like this in the past, and it's a party that will continue to behave that way, because we believe first that people come first. That is our vision, that people come first. We work to develop them. And talking about that same people come first, as I end this first introductory comments, we are, and because of that belief, because we believe that our young people deserve more than simply cutting of grass. That this should not be a legacy for our young people. The hundreds and hundreds of young people across Dominica, their legacy should not be simply, I like to see the grass clean on the roadside, but that should not be the legacy of our young people. We are embarking upon training for the young people in our constituency. And I hope that is something that can be repeated across Dominica, probably with different modules. But we are starting in the constituency of Mont John, Riviera, Sirik, and Grand Forks, where we are offering young people completely free of charge. There's a token $5 registration just because we think it's good. You pay something, just as a token contribution. That's less than the price of beer in Dominica, I'm told it is. So $5 is cheaper than a beer bottle. So we are having them trained in electrical and small appliance repair. So we're going to be training a cadre of youth who will be able to, when you have your problem,
essential
you're free
skills
in the community.
Yeah.
not only in the community. I'm hoping that when they are done, they can organize themselves. That if
Yeah.
somebody has a broken fridge
Yeah.
in Castle Rose, they'll be able to get that job
Right.
instead of somebody having to come from Roseau, and fridges or fans and
That's
little
very good.
household
That's
appliances,
commendable.
air conditioning and electricals.
Yeah.
To be able to wire a house, to be able to do electrical work, and we also be doing some training in plumbing,
Right.
so that we know that most houses now have flushing toilets.
Right.
So every now and then those break down, and pipe bursts in the house and so on. So be able to have young people who have those skills that can then offer those skills to the public. So that's what we're engaged in. That's about developing the people of Dominica. That's about developing our young people in particular. And there's a lot more that we have in store, but we're unveiling it, little by little, drip by drip, drop by drop. But we are unveiling our concern and our love for the people.
So imagine the United Workers' Party is not in power yet, can identify these areas as you are the leader taking the lead in your constituency to ensure that you empower the young men with a skill, essential skill that could be necessary, especially these things, plumbing things are happening anytime in Nigeria. Pipe can burst, machines go bad, electrical problems, and that is so good. And I want to applaud you for the work that you do. But you made an interesting point. While we speak about a sizable amount of resources going to, with respect to the budgetary allocation, when the government presented its budget to the Prime Minister's office, not only that sizable amount goes there, but also, Ronald, the implementation rate is more than 90%, while other growth sectors implementation rate is something like 60. Take for example agriculture, because I was doing an analysis on past budgets, and I realized it's sizable amount of money allocated to the Prime Minister's office. I wonder what a Prime Minister's office is doing all that. So it looked like that they have been pinching out in other areas just to fulfill the Prime Minister's office with sizable amount, but the implementation rate in money, I wonder what they're doing. If let's say a certain amount of money goes to the Prime Minister and you have to do it on housing, the best ministry to work on housing is the Ministry of Housing. So why take that allocation and do housing? So something is not right, and we our priorities must be right. But I'm happy with that, and we're going to take some feedback from the public, because I know that they would like to. The program is not us alone. We can speak, but other persons have to partake as well, have their say. So we're inviting the public at this point in time to, probably say, call and to give your input and areas of concern, and just call to tell us if you like what is going on so far. Because I know there's a new wave, according to Davis George, a new wave is taking place. Ronald, do you agree that there's a new wave taking place?
Absolutely. And the wave is because of the political leader, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, his vision, his plans for Dominica. You see, it's very practical. Is that they can be achieved. And more so, I just want to point out one thing. I think recently there has been a outcry, and again, a lot of persons in our political party have articulated that the issue about our healthcare.
Right.
Every time election is around the corner, you hear about a healthcare.
Yes, we've got a caller. Caller, you are right in. Let us go. 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097.
We lost the caller. Ask them to try again.
Yes, caller, are you there? 616-4257, and our overseas line for those who would like to participate from overseas, 305 432-9624. Yes, Ronald, your trend of what?
Yes. So the whole issue about the healthcare situation in Dominica. I mean, we really have to take a stance on those things. We cannot continue to have a country where, people have.
Yes, we've got a caller. Caller, yes, you're right in.
Hello, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yes, so.
Yes, good night to
Rosa
you.
for so. I say it's no longer Soso for Rosa, it's Rosa for Soso.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and good evening to Mr. Charles
Good evening, sir.
and to Dr. Fountain.
And to you, sir. Good
Right.
evening. Good evening.
I'm listening to the program there, and my glad is heart. My heart is glad.
That is
Yeah.
nice.
Glad is hot. No, that is good.
My glad is that. Yes.
Can't go wrong in that.
To hear about the training of the young men starting in the Grand Fort area, because as a young man, when I was 17, 18, my father gave me an ultimatum to go to the college or go and learn what public works to work, and money messed me up, and I went to go to public works. I could have gone to college and got a paperwork saying that I'm a welder. Right now, I'm a welder, and I do not have any papers saying I'm a welder. But I'm a good enough welder, to say that I'm a welder. So I figure it is a real good thing that's going to be happening, because I have a son who went to do some electrical thing at the youth division a few years ago, and no certificate. He did the course, everything, but there's no certificate. There are some people who went to do a job, a thing in the college, and they said that they would give them a certificate. These people, they left their work, and went to do that course in the college, and nothing happened. I am so very happy to hear that is happening there, and really it will move on to other constituencies, and to get the young people ready for the market, because right now I'm speaking as a welder. In a matter of a few years, 10 or 5 years, there will not be a really good welder in Dominica. We are aging, okay? We are aging, and there will not be good. All we know is fellas doing burglar bars, and they call themselves welders. I do not call them welders. I call them tackers. You understand? To do a good welding job, you have to be able to do something that can hold it up a machine. Because I can remember once working at Grandy, and when something happened to a machine, and they brought it to me as a welder, and I started welding. When it finished, it went to the river, and I remember the supervisor went by the river and watching. So every time the machine puts his bucket in the thing, looking to see if the thing broke,
Right.
And he stayed there so long that he had to leave and come back, because I am good enough. I'm not saying I'm the best at all, but I'm good enough. So I believe doing that for young people is very good, because when I drive down Cochrane Road, I see fellas in Cochrane, young men, sweeping the road while I'm fellas swiping the road. Young men, 19, so on going. Young men, I cringe when I see that. These people need to learn to do something so that they can prepare, get monies, working. So I'm very happy to hear that, Dr. Fountain, and I believe that will spread throughout the different communities, and that I hope that this government, who is very lazy, to hear people come on the radios and give ideas. They cannot even copy the idea and say, let's start doing that. Nothing like that. We all know that all they're interested in is when the election is called, today, tomorrow they win, they start to plan for the next election. So, gentlemen, good evening. I'm listening. Okay?
Yes, and not only that, and thank you, caller. Thank you for this. Thank you very much. And Doc, you are a man of your word, because at the Economic Forum, you actually said you will be working on some of the things that can be done immediately, and looking for early deployment of young people to be working. But the point is, what is important in the process is that you are empowering them with a skill, and so once they are skillful enough to go out, they can now sustain on their own, and that's very good. You cannot looking for employment for a man in plumbing and he's not trained in plumbing.
Exactly.
And so that is where you have to put some people put the cat before the horse. The horse has to lead and pull this cat. And that is very good, Doc. And I want to say again, kudos to you, because you did say that things that are could be done, immediately you will do it, and even without being in government, you are able to have this initiative running. So,
Yes.
Doc,
Yeah,
I really
you
want
know,
that. Yeah.
thanks a lot for that. You know, that's what I talk about, being concerned about people, and part of that as well is
That's right.
with the farmers. You know, we are very deeply concerned about the well-being and the welfare
Yeah.
of our farmers. And one of the things that we have been doing now is to try to inspire and encourage the farmers. And I'm very happy to say that as we organize our farmers in the constituency, we are seeing young men coming on board, young women coming on board. And it's really exciting to see that there is that hunger still for people, because they understand. They have been hearing stories about their parents and the money, and they're seeing the evidence of it. They're seeing the homes, they're seeing the probably the remnants of the old vehicles their parents used to drive during the time of farming, and they're saying, well, there is money in it for us, and they're coming along. So we are organizing the farmers in the Southeast with a view to securing markets for them, and with a view also to ensuring that we can help with their inputs. And so it's about caring deeply for the people, and working, not just talking about it, but being actively engaged. And I want to say a big thank you to, we had over 50 farmers who showed
Wow.
up at our last
Great.
meeting.
Mhm.
And it was just really remarkable. We've been able to set up a committee of the farmers that are now, so we're now moving to the action phase, and,
Right.
and looking at different things that we can do with them and for them. We have discussions around doing some composting and different ideas that are
Right.
floating around, and securing some markets for them. We've been able to secure some markets in bananas for a few of the farmers. So a lot of that is going on now, and so there is a lot as a party that we engaged in that I believe is going to help build the people, and it's about putting people first. So not only is that our theme, but we are working to secure that theme and to ensure that people benefit as we go forward.
Yes, and the point is the farmers will always have the confidence in you because, yes, caller, because remember, prior to this initiative, you had been involved. Brother Luge was involved at one point in time. I used to be doing the transporting for you all and getting involved, and you were buying the farmers' produce, getting it out. And instead, the government would have encouraged it and come and tell you, well, look, let us work, let us collaborate, and let's try to expand the market. They go trying to fool farmers and tell them, don't sell to you. Don't sell to you and kill your own market. Or you can kill your farmers and you come on.
That is where I learned much to my shock. That these guys were not interested in people.
No.
And they were making public pronouncements.
Right, yeah,
I remember hearing with my own ears here in our street talking about it, saying not to think. And not only that, I've never told the Dominican public the lengths that these guys went to, The person I was working with, they went to him, the agent I was working with in Martinique.
The buyer?
The buyer, the main buyer in Martinique. They went to him to tell him not to buy from me.
Oh!
I'm saying that for the first time. That is the extent to which these guys were prepared to really destroy, And
man.
It's not me you're destroying.
The farmers?
These are farmers. These are people who were, as I said, we brought in 6 months, we brought over $600,000 into the Southeast, through that project. Because the buyers in Martinique were prepared to take any amount of
anything we had.
Supply to them.
Very good.
And so
But
it tells you, and again, it draws the contrast. Here it is, we were working hard, the United Workers' Party working hard to put food on the tables of the farmers, and then the Labour Party working extremely hard to remove food so that they can say, come to me in a red clinic. Let me give you a hand.
But I know Ronald coming in, but Ronald before that, remember Danny's project.
That's what I was going to say. The same
Honorable Luge,
Yeah.
sought the funding, did all the communication. You know what the guys did?
But
That's
look at
the
this.
boycott.
For the last 3 years, thereabout,
Mhm.
I'm the one that normally organizes basketball in the Roseau Valley.
Right.
3 years. I say, boy, maybe it was about 7 months ago, maybe a year, 9 months ago. I say, boy, because the young people always coming to me, Mr. Charles, when can we start the basketball? When can we do something, the place ball? I decided that, that, hey, let me go try something. As soon as I say that, then they say, oh, you can't do it because the construction starting to repair the court. 4 years now, the court still under the same stress.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is You cannot be projecting your minds about winning an election alone.
Yes.
You have to put people first.
Yeah.
That is what the United Workers' Party is about, putting people first. And as I was saying earlier, our health sector is getting blows. You know, I'm hearing on the streets, it's almost like there are people now, when you tell them, okay, I have to take you to the hospital, they're saying, well, they're just getting they're caring immediately because they prefer to stay home rather than going up there. You know, and the health policy that they spoke of, the national health policy, every year, every time the election is around the corner, people they speak about it. But you see what happens as soon as the election is over? It's gone in the wind.
Yeah.
Look at this now. There's a new game in town. There's a new game now in every constituency. It is called Catch the Next Hole on the Road. That's basically what it is. All how you turn,
Boy, it's bad. Huh?
there is a lot of potholes
Yes.
in almost every constituency.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
This is a government that boasts about money they have, and they can just get it fixed and repaired and all that.
Right.
I mean, these are the basic things. I drive up to Trafalgar almost every day, go to collect my eggs, do my thing, and this is a tourism destination. Dr. Irvin McIntyre passed there almost every day. I don't know if he's passing on a helicopter, maybe he's not feeling it. But it is almost embarrassing that you have to ride from Roseau to Trafalgar.
It is embarrassing.
No, what I'm saying is you don't even want to drive up to the communities. We have a road, for example, in Wharton Waven, the bypass. And people have been almost 7, 8, 9, 10 years. What are we doing? And people figure, it's okay. You know what they do? They come and they organize. They say they're going to have this meeting about the tourism product and the new cable car. The cable car project is a private
Project.
under which
Yes.
the government have invested minimal amount.
Right.
They provided some land. It is not the government project. They do not have this.
No, they do not have
They
this.
cannot control what happens.
No, they cannot.
Right? They can only make a suggestion.
Right.
Right? And our people have been taken for a ride for years. Now, mark you, we appreciate the project, the project is
It's a good
there.
project.
Young people are getting employed and so forth. And
Of
I asked the outgoing caretaker, I call him the caretaker because people say I'm the parrot. But I asked him this question. There's a cable car project. There's a geothermal project. We are one of we have all what it takes to have prime tourism attractions in the Roseau.
Very resourceful.
Just name it.
Very
From
resourceful.
hot water to cold water
Very resourceful.
to medium.
Yeah.
How many young people have you, Dr. McIntyre, made recommendation to be the next best person to repair a cable car? Who
Yeah.
is studying doing that?
Doing that. Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
About a geothermal engineer. Who
Right.
do it?
Who do
We
it?
have Alan to say, I think he have done some engineering, but that's about it. Who do we have? How many young people that you are saying that over the next 10 years, they are the ones who are going to come and replace these people? No, nobody, nothing.
Exactly.
Right.
So when the project is over, and they're talking about finishing the project in December, when it's over, you have almost 150 young people that's going to start to say Sapufe. And that is the problem. What is it? What are we putting in place for when all these young people in the Roseau Valley, what are they going to do? All of them cannot work in the cable car. Well, some of them will get the normal jobs and so. But I'm talking about the jobs that would create that kind of revenue for their families. Of course, we'll get security, one or two little things and so forth. But I'm talking about how many of those young people that are employed now in building the structure. How are we going to cater for their future? And the Prime Minister came to the community of Trafalgar and he speak of them fellas making big money, making big money. What is this? Is not a joke.
It's not a joke, my boy.
Which big money?
Ronald, I'm happy we are on this line of conversing because I will tell you, when I joined the banana industry in 1989, I came into the industry and, there were processes, Doc, and we had to learn actually the ropes as to how to go about. When I left the banana industry, we had systems in place, well organized. I will tell you what we used to do, and it's going to just shock Dominicans. before a farmer could have gone into either a new area or whether it's call it expansion, new lands, we used to collaborate. And when there's a call, let's inform me. We used to collaborate with the Ministry of Agriculture, and we used to come together on the farm. So we say, okay, let us take the best lands, accessible lands for bananas or plantains, and let us get the Ministry of Agriculture to have a workable plan with the farmer. So we plan together and we say, look, the worst part of the land would be in permanent crops and so. So we had that collaboration going on, and things went on so nice. We'd never have the Ministry of Agriculture people, extension officers out. We had that collaboration. So we always go out together and to plan together and to make sure that we had, we know what was in the soil. Doc, imagine every quarter, or I can even say it like that, biannually, every 6 months, we would take what they call soil and leaf samples to take so that we dry the specimens, and we'll have them sent to the lab for analysis. And in doing the analysis, we'll get the results and we go back and interpret the results to the farmer. So the farmer is not spending money on things his soil doesn't need. He only is going to spend money on what lacks in the soil. So what is already good is good. So take, for instance, if he lacks, let's say, nitrogen, we'd have recommended a nitrogen as fertilizer. If he lacks phosphorus, we'd have recommended a phosphatic fertilizer. If he lacks potassium, we'd have recommended a potassic formula fertilizer. So the farmer was well organized. Here's a caller. Yes, caller. Good evening.
Hey, good evening, Soso.
Good evening to you, sir.
And good evening to Mr. Ronald.
Good evening, sir.
You know, you touch a point. I had to call because I was talking to Dr. Seja. I think he's somewhere up in the valley, Waterwave. Dr. Seja, I don't know if I
Dr. Seja, yes.
Dr. Seja.
Right. He formed a community in Fly City, like a peace community with a teacher. I mean, Miss Walsh used to be a sports teacher or something. We form a community, like a peace community for that era in Fly City, one of those areas. And I was telling him, look at Waterwave. All the development in tourism from Screws, Tias, Tikwe. Tikwe is the brother of Curtis, who used to have that pizza shop at the Mao bus stop there, Curtis. Look at these guys' work they've done from the hand. And these areas are promoting Dominica more in tourism than the whole country. Are you there with me? You're listening to me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we are listening to you carefully. Yes.
If Waterwave does close down, it's like this Carnival and Independent. Let's say all these people, Screws, Tikwe, Joan, all of them just close down the place. That's one of the biggest marketing for the French people. You know, actually, some of these people that suffer with all kind of arthritis and joint pains, they just close that down. Because I remember one year we had some cricket team, and Screws was going through some little difficulties, I think, with the government at the time. They either didn't want to give him some piece of land in front of him. He had closed down his place. And you know the backlash that gave a lot of people, and even the people from the cruise ship. Are you there with me, sir?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't pay attention to those things. And even my former pilot from Marigot, which is Karis, I tell him, you have to do some developments for the youths. I've been saying that even on their program. I said, look at right in Pottersville there, also the Black Sand Beach. I'm begging the representative of Roseau, get the young people that support you and build a stage, because build music, build a toilet, build some convenience right on that Woodbridge Bay and clean the beach and put the young people in activities, just like what Ronald saying there. Sometimes it's not, I don't like politics, you know. Politics is a thing I don't like, because I've seen the damage done from Ukraine to Russia, from all these places up there. I just don't like that. I can debate, but I don't like it, to tell you the truth. And one of the things I believe the opposition to do, they should do more groundwork try to get some organized youth movement. That is what Rosie them doing in the 70s and the 60s. All it go to nothing like Rosie them, Rosie win a seat and Freedom Party pull it back from Rosie. And Rosie still come and join with them. So that's supposed to show you how diplomat Rosie was. I was wrong with Rosie. I couldn't be wrong then because I was young, but I was listening and I was watching all the movements in the early, before the big strike in Roseau, the airport, the block already, when they were trying to carry away Diggers or one of them on an aircraft with me. There was a pilot from Margaret that flew him out 2 o'clock in the morning. So I was wrong, but I was just young. I was seeing what was happening. So Rosie parents go all over Dominica and tell Dominicans, don't vote for him, and Rosie still win. Even if people that was wrong him didn't want to join with him because they were checking in communists. We have to go back to history, and Rosie stay wrong and he gripped. So what are we going to do? There is nothing. We don't develop in the youth. It's the youth. The ministry have a system that's blocking the young people. The banking system blocking the youths. And then to me, that's some of the areas I'm supposed to talk about. So you in Roseau there, you could get some white tables, get a sponsorship and put on the beach. I know you have to get okay from the authority, but right there by my boy there, where Ronaldo's going all his bicycle riding, when the cruise ship come there, get music, get the young guys and do something on the block there because it's the youth, and I respect everybody, but the politics, I can't deal with that one. I find, and the independent, the carnival time, I find the politics should simmer down because the Prime Minister knows it's affecting the country. He said we don't want when a taxi man driving the tourists, you have to be talking about politics. He knows it's affecting the country. And I find a little bit we have to simmer down, and I respect all the program tonight because matter the program today, and speaking about the homeless, look at Roseau. Look at Roseau, so. I mean, quite on the politics of the government, Just take a look at Roseau with homeless people all on the sidewalk, sleeping. It happens sometime, man. Have a good night.
Yes, thank you. But yes, and caller, we take some of the information and we know but I'm saying you give us a chance and you'll see how we'll transform the same rules you are concerned about. But your former pal rep for Marigot was Honorable Lennox Linden and not, I heard you said the former pal rep. So I just want to correct that. He said Carissa. But yes, Ronald, so we are winding down and getting to the end. So I know you are on, so in just making your comments, you could just do your final.
And I know that the caller and many persons want to hear what will the United Workers' Party do differently. The caller spoke about the youth and unemployment. We are saying that you need to create an enabling environment in order that the young people can be better engaged.
Yeah.
A lot of people speak in 2000, speak of 2000. When you compare 2000 to now, it's a little bit different, in my view. When Rosie was going around and doing what he was doing, we still, and he won the election. At the end of the day, the United Workers' Party did do what they had to do
That's
as
correct.
a government. Because a lot of people just misinterpret what the government function is compared to what this new set of guys, that are now over 24 years, just making it believe, just playing in people's minds, not giving them real issues to be able to develop themselves, So the United Workers' Party government is about, bringing these young people at a juncture where they will improve on themselves, get better jobs, and so forth. That is why Dr. Fontaine spoke about it earlier, the issues of having, getting into factories. I always baffle that we say we have good water, everywhere you pass is water, but yet see we don't even have a proper water factory. You could have young people employed in different aspects of water management. We could be exporting much more water. It is something that we should be looking into. Agriculture, and Dr. Fontaine talk about it, and skills training, because sometimes I believe we move away from that. So there are a lot of things that have to be done. But another thing that we must pay attention to, that the ministers of government are not doing what they're supposed to be doing as ministers of various government in various ministries. Ministry of Agriculture not doing what they're supposed to do. Ministry of Tourism, they're trying something, but it's still not, it's like the same domino effect all the time,
Yeah.
So let me just say in closing, I know we only have an hour, and of course, if you go on our party page and you start to follow us, we're on Instagram, we're all over the place. You can start getting more insight as to what we plan to do because it's within an hour you can't really put it together. But let me close by saying this: the Dominican people have a chance and have an opportunity to get out of that system that has been created by a group of guys who believe that this is their estate. This is their estate, and they have an opportunity. And that fear thing about, not getting the energy to get out there and do what they have to do. And I've always said to people, so that you don't leave it up to the politicians, put it this way, or the community people alone to do it. The young people themselves have to encourage each other. The young people themselves have to go out there and say, hey, we need that change. Sometimes it have to happen. The kind of motivation that they need to motivate each other so that we can go to the next level. We have to keep holding our parliamentary representatives responsible for what they have done to the communities, like Dr. Irvin McIntyre and Colin McIntyre. When they came to the Roseau Valley, and basically the Roseau Valley is dead. There's no sports. There's nothing happening in the Roseau Valley. Even the roads are afraid. Everything is in a standstill. We cannot have communities where people are not engaging, where people cannot go and socialize, where people cannot go and watch a cricket match, a football. That is the meaning of community. And it's not about because there is something coming down somewhere this year, then you will say, well, let us go and talk about the cable car, and let's go talk about the geothermal that is coming, and there will be plenty jobs and plenty jobs. But if you want to get the job that is coming, you need to have one to reach it, to meet it. How are you going to, you have to have a job now to be able to last, to meet the new things that are coming and create and have creativity.
Right.
We have a set of fellas that just believe that all they have to do to people is make a promise to them.
That's right.
So for example, there's a house in Trafalgar, there's an apartment 9 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever it is, but it's more than 5 for sure. You have an apartment complex that you've been promising 12 people almost 12 years. You just keep promising people for the apartment and you're not delivering it. Recently, he came to the Trafalgar Center and he said, oh, we have chosen the 12 people, but the community don't know who are the 12 people. You cannot make it public so we can all say, oh yeah, this person deserve one. That family deserve one. That is a good choice. And we can big it up. You said that they have to paint it and they are not in the apartments yet. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for when you ring the bell, and then you will say, okay, got it wrong. I have some apartments to give away. So everybody's on edge, but you will only get it after you go and vote for me. This is what you want to do, people? And they can afford that going on there. I don't want to take more of your time.
No, but it's a good point. And we know we just out of time, but we will get the political leader to wind up in a while. But let me just respond to some of the things that the last caller said. And last caller, with our efforts at the banana industry, let me tell you what we used to do in terms of recruitment of young people. Every year we had a contingent of young persons from the various schools come in and do attachment work at the banana company.
I did it
when
I was young.
And what we used to do is to take them out in the various districts.
Mm-hmm.
Until one time we had GPS wasn't as pronounced as it is now in terms of the highest technology, but we had portable GPS equipment. And what we used to do, Dr. Fontaine, is to take the young people around and they like gadgets and to take them to sort of record coordinates of farmer shed. Yes, there's a caller right now. We're going to take this caller. Certainly. Caller, you're on with us. And you'll be the last caller. Yes, good evening to you.
Yeah, I'm not hearing you clearly,
Well, we are hearing you so you can speak.
I notice you always making something, but Ronald mentioned something there about geothermal. It is about a year ago. I remember the government went to Parliament to ask for supplementary estimate for them to run a new grid to Fokoli to upgrade the electricity. Say they're going to get the geothermal working. Can you all inform me as to what is the latest status on that now?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's true that happened. They did go to Parliament, but as far as we know, not much has happened since. Not much has happened since. But the monies were given. The company was selected to build the facility to be able to transfer. Because after you generate the electricity, you have to transfer it so that it can be linked into the existing grid. And I believe work is ongoing, but
Yeah.
not
But
in
but
rush.
But the bottom line
Yeah.
is the bottom line is, Doc, at the end of the day, for the last 10 years, can the people of the Roseau Valley and or Roseau Central and or the East tell me whether or not their bill in electricity has gone down?
No, it has
the,
not.
the bread and butter issue is that people are paying too much for electricity, including industry, including companies. So what we want Mr. Blackmore to keep saying to us, he keep telling us that, okay, and when it come, it will go down. But some people will end up going to the great beyond before it come. We need to understand that the issues that we are confronted with is not a yesterday issue. These are issues these guys have been using time over time again, and coming with the same storyline about, well, these big things are coming, And Dominicans must understand that sometimes it's a little step that you need. You don't need the big one. You need small steps. And at least by now, the amount of times that I've heard from those guys that your electricity bill almost have doubled since those
Yes,
kind of
and that's
discussions.
what I was saying. So long we're talking about the production well. All we know is we understand mathematics well. All we know, nearly 200 million have been spent on that geothermal, and not a matchbox has been lit. And that is so important to us, because not even at least, my friend, with the amount of money spent, and with that production well they talk about, at least the village of Loda should have already been lit.
Of course.
It should have already been lit. At least that should be the pilot of and testimony of that work being done. But I'll make the point quickly, Ronald, when you talk about the young people. And Caller, we were talking about young people coming on the farm. So what we do, we take them to the shed, and we say we're using the shed at the landmark, and we have a coordinates, and we have them input work into a database, so that when we ourselves go out, we go to Wesley, take for instance, we have number of sheds, but we have coordinates. We have numerical coordinates to tell us exactly where Ronald's shed is,
Exactly.
where Dr. Thompson's shed is.
of
So
course.
and the young people were excited about that. Something else that took them by surprise is that we had a water management unit. And not only that, we had a water management unit, but we were able to develop schedules for scheduling of irrigation to farmers. And young people were involved in the whole idea of learning these processes, taking records, and were involved in training in terms of getting information about water management. And so they would take records. We had farm record books where we take the young people, and during the summer take them and to assist farmers in record keeping, record management. So we have done a lot, and the systems existed, But the point is, with this incompetent government, with this inept government, what you find happen is that when they came in, their modus operandi was just to ensure that they shut down everything, take out the independence of people, and to make them dependent upon them. But we will get there again, and we'll tell you more of what was happening. But Dr. Fontaine,
Yes,
you can wind up for us,
certainly. So I just wanted to say that's why we are going to fix it. That's why we are going to fix the youth unemployment problem by creating those opportunities for young people. That's why we are going to fix the problem of the farmers by creating opportunities within agriculture, revamping the agriculture sector. That's why we are going to fix our health system for investing in the health system, having a health insurance scheme that can make our health system once more the envy of the Eastern Caribbean. So we do have a plan in place. The United Workers Party, Team Dominica, has a plan in place to really develop this country. And Ronald started by talking about our competence in economics and so on. We definitely have a plan that we, coming out of the economic conference we had in June, that we are working on, we are refining as we go along. But the important thing is that we are focused on bringing change to Dominica, change to the lives of Dominicans, improving their lives. And the way we are going to improve the lives of the average Dominican is by creating opportunities, by creating jobs, so that people can have the one job if they want. They can have one or two jobs if they think that they want to work more to earn more. But we're certainly going to give opportunities to to Dominica and to Dominicans. Revamping our agriculture sector, ensuring that our health system is restored, ensuring that our elderly people are taken care of, our young people are taken care of, and those who can work are given the opportunity to work. So a lot of work is ahead for us as a party, and as we work very hard to become the next government of this country, where we can promise the people of Dominica that our better days are ahead of us.
Yes, and so at our end stream, you see people say congratulations to the initiative of training the young people, and they hope that the young people can take advantage of every opportunity that is available to them. So let me say to everyone, good night. Thank you again for listening. Thank you for contributing. I mean, we just had 1 hour. We could have said much more. And it is important that we remind people that things were happening as opposed to now where you have nothing happening. And so it is important to note too, under the United Workers' Party, we were more structured in terms of having things in a so people could. So let us take, for instance, one of us move on, then other persons coming at the back would meet the systems and continue. So we had continuity. With this government, nothing is happening. But our job is to inform, educate, and to tell you what it is that we are going to do to revamp this economy with the specialist, Dr. Thompson Fontaine. So let me say to Dominicans, we have one more goal left for us, is to remove this incompetent government and take over the reins of Dominica so that we can transform this Dominica, so that we can bring a better quality of life for each and every person. But young persons, the ball is in your court. You need to take action. You need to stand up. That fear no more. You must fear no more. You must fear no more. Ronald was saying something before we officially
I'm just going to
end.
say just before we leave.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of motivation here. Change is possible, and every small step you take can create a ripple effect. Your story isn't over, Dominicans. This chapter is just the beginning of something stronger. You are not alone. We rise by lifting each other, right? When we stand together, no force can break us. We can do this, Dominica.
At this point, we end this program. Thank you very much. Count your